Michelle, and this is Mishmash. Today I want to talk about books that will cheer you up. As you may have heard, January 18th this year is known as Blue Monday, which is supposedly the most depressing day of the year. I guess it's because it's after Christmas, it's still cold, there's no upcoming holidays. Maybe it's a few weeks after you've set your New Year's resolutions and you've already failed on those and you're getting into a slump. I'm not talking about people that are actually depressed. I realize that is a completely different and so totally separate thing. But I'm just talking about when you're feeling those winter blues, what kind of books would you like to read to make yourself feel a little bit happier about the situation? I gathered a few of my favorite books that I read when I want to be cheered up or that cheered me up when I read them. So starting off with books that are actually funny, that will make you laugh and feel happy when you read them. First is A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I read this last December and I was laughing out loud while reading it. It's absurd, it talks about the meaning of life in a way that makes absolutely no sense. So I think this book would just make you laugh a little and cheer you up if you're feeling a little bit blue. Another book that made me laugh a lot was Bossy Pants by Tina Fey. I listened to this on audiobook and I really recommend doing that because Tina Fey narrates herself and she is hilarious. It's inspiring but also really funny and I really recommend it. It will make you laugh. Another book is The Martian by Andy Weir. This was very popular last year, everyone's read it or seen the movie, but it is actually so funny. I heard that the movie won Best Comedy in some award show. I don't know if I would call it a comedy, but it is very funny and I really recommend it. It's a science fiction about the man who gets lost on Mars. He has such a positive, sarcastic outlook on his life on Mars that I can't help but think if you're feeling a little bit down about your own life, if someone can be living on Mars and still have that good of an attitude, you're doing okay on Earth. And lastly, my favorite play, which is The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. This was published in 1895, but it is still so relevant and so hilarious. Oscar Wilde mocks religion, education, politics, and a lot of other things, relationships, marriage, in this play, and I find it hilarious and I love it, and I really recommend it. Plus, it's super short, so you should be able to read it in just an hour or two. Then on a different note, if you're not feeling actually like laughing, I recommend getting started on a fantasy series or any series. This one I really enjoyed. This is the Mistborn series. Actually, I've only read the first 2 books, but this is the first one. It's called The Final Empire and it's by Brandon Sanderson. And I just find that when you get lost in a huge novel like this, it's actually really easy to read and you fly through it. You don't really notice that it's so long. But getting lost in a series can just help you get your mind off your own situation, and I think winter is the perfect time to be reading a fantasy series. And this one is about a thieving group and there's actually some funny parts in it, funny characters, and it's just a feel-good book, so I recommend it to cheer you up. One of my favorite all-time books and make me feel good books is Anne of the Island by Lucy Maud Montgomery. This is the 3rd book in the Anakin Gables series, but if you've watched the movie or read the first book, I think you should skip ahead to this one. I do recommend reading the whole series, but this book is definitely my favorite. I do cry in it every single time I read it, but sometimes a therapeutic cry is a good thing when you're feeling a little down. And there's just something about this book that to me is nostalgic and feels like coming home, and I love it and it cheers me up every time I read it. I'm always in the mood to read it in September when everyone's going back to school, or in the winter when I feel like cozying up to something familiar. Another good thing to read to cheer you up is an inspiring memoir. And sometimes these aren't always happy throughout the whole book, but they can be inspiring. I really enjoyed Wild by Cheryl Strayed. This is the story of a woman who goes hiking on the Pacific Crest Trail in California and Oregon, and she goes by herself, and there are a lot of flashbacks to depressing points in her life, but she pushes through against all odds, and it is very inspiring. And I think that if you're feeling down, reading about someone else's life story where they have persevered can be inspiring to help you get out of your slump and realize there's lots to be optimistic about, at least. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know what books cheer you up and what you like to read in the winter months, and I will be back with another video soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.